Hello everyone. I, Rekha Chabra, your maths teacher, welcome you all to my YouTube channel Learn Mathematics. Students, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment after watching the complete video. And also hit the bell icon to get further notifications. Now we are going to start a new topic, inverse trigonometric functions, which is chapter number 2 as per NCERT. In this video, we will understand the basic concepts, what are the inverse functions and what is the meaning of principal value branch and how we find the principal values. Now, let's start with some basic concepts. In class 11th, we have already studied what is the meaning of trigonometric functions and how they are defined. So these are 6 trigonometric functions with their domain and range. I hope you must be knowing these domains and range. Now let's understand one thing before we start the main concept, that let's say we are given with a graph, call it as gx, and when we have to find its inverse, so what we have to do, basically we have to flip the graph along its diagonal, or in other words we can call it as we have to flip the graph along the line y equal to x. Then the resultant graph, which is blue in color, is called as inverse of this gx. Now the question is, students, does the graph sin x have an inverse? Look at the graph which is there in front of you and give it a thought that do you think that it has an inverse? No. And what is the reason why it does not have inverse? Because sine function is not 1 1. It does not pass the horizontal line test. At so many values of x, it is giving us the same value for y. So how it can be 1 1? And now we have studied in chapter number 1 that if a function has inverse, if the function is bijective, then only it can have inverse. So it means the function is not bijective, it is not 1 1. So how it can have inverse? Do you think that any of the 6 trigonometric functions have inverse? No, because all are not bijective functions. So we know from chapter 1 that when fx is invertible function, then only it will have inverse. And the graph of sine inverse x can be obtained from the graph of original function by interchanging x and y axis. If AB, this ordered pair, is a point on the graph of sine function, then definitely BA becomes the corresponding point on the graph of inverse sine function. And the graph of sine inverse x can be obtained from the original graph by interchanging x and y axis. Now it can be shown that the graph of an inverse function can be obtained from the corresponding graph of original function as a mirror image, or we can call it as along y equal to x. This can be visualized as well, and let's have a look. But before that, let's discuss few important points. Graphically, a function f has inverse if it passes the horizontal line test, then f is said to be 1 1. Next point, given a function f, let f inverse be the relation that results when we swap x and y coordinates for each point in f. Next point, if f and f inverse are inverses, then their domains and ranges are interchanged. That is, the domain of f becomes the range of f inverse and the range of f becomes the domain of f inverse and vice versa. None of the 6 trigonometric functions have inverses as they are currently defined. All fail the horizontal line test, and now we will examine and will learn how to solve this problem. When it is written y equal to arc sine x, this is same as sine inverse x. When we write y equal to sine x, so this is the sine value and this is the angle. For example, when we say sine 45 degree is equal to 1 by root 2. So that 1 by root 2 is the sine value and 45 degree is the angle. So same way in the inverse sine function, this is the corresponding angle y and x is the valid sine value. So for arc sine or sine inverse x, one more time, the graph of arc sine function can be obtained from the graph of original function by interchanging x and y axis. Now just look at the graphs. How to solve this problem of having inverse? So as the function is defined, definitely it is not 1 1. So just to solve this problem, what we do, we restrict some interval where the values will not repeat. For one value of x, it will definitely give us one different value of y. So whenever the values will not repeat, we restrict this type of interval for having the inverse of that particular function. So principal value branch with domain and range of sine function. When we have sine inverse function, so we have taken the interval as this -1 to 1. In this interval, the range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And if you look at this interval, none of the value is going to repeat. For different value of x, we are going to get the different value of y. And we call it as principal value branch of sine inverse function. If you look at the graph, we have so many intervals of this type. We can take the interval as pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 as well, 3 pi by 2 to 5 pi by 2 as well, and same on the negative axis. But then again, this branch is called as principal value branch. And whenever we talk about principal values, definitely we will deal in this branch, principal value branch. So the domain of sine inverse function is -1 to 1 and the range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Same way we have to fix all the intervals for all trigonometric functions. Same way for cos inverse x, the domain is again -1 to 1 and the range is 0 to pi. This highlighted portion, 0 to pi. For arc tangent function, or we call it as tan inverse function, the domain is all the real numbers and the range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But if you look at the interval, this is open interval because it excludes minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2, because at minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2 it becomes not defined. So that's why it is open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Same way for cot inverse x, the domain is all the real numbers and range is 0 to pi, again in the open interval. As you can see at the graph that 0 and at pi it is not defined. Now sec inverse x, the domain is all the real numbers minus the open interval -1 to 1 and the range is 0 to pi in the closed interval, 0 to pi in the closed interval, 0 and pi are also included, minus pi by 2 because at minus pi by 2 this is not defined. So that's why we have subtracted this pi by 2 from this interval. Now cosec inverse x, domain is all the real numbers minus -1 to 1 open interval and the range is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 and minus 0 because again at 0 it is not defined. So the following tables gives the inverse trigonometric functions, principal value branches along with their domains and ranges. Here students, we have to note down few things, that sine inverse x should not be confused with sine x whole inverse. In fact, sine x whole inverse is nothing, just the 1 upon sine x, and similarly for other trigonometric functions also this thing is applicable. Wherever no branch of inverse trigonometric function is mentioned, it means we are talking about the principal value branch, and the value of inverse trigonometric functions which lies in the range of principal branch is called the principal value of that particular trigonometric function. Another important thing here, angle is measured in radians, not degrees. Now, what is the relation between trigonometry and inverse trigonometric functions? So, this is very simple, students. Let's say it is given theta equal to sine inverse x. If theta equal to sine inverse x, if we take sine to both sides, so sine theta will be equal to x. If sine theta equal to x, so we can write it as x by 1, and we know this is P by H. P by H. So perpendicular is x and hypo is 1. So by using the Pythagoras theorem, we can calculate rest of the ratios. And same way we can do for all trigonometric functions. Now let's talk about principal value. How we calculate the principal value. Suppose we are given cos inverse half. So the principal value of cos inverse 1 by 2 means the angle x where cos x is 1 by 2. We have to find the angle x where cos x is 1 by 2. And we use this table for our help. And what are the steps that we have to follow? First of all, put the given thing equal to y. Then let's take cos function to both the side. Cos y equal to half. Now ignore the signs and find the value of theta. And using the table, find principal value according to the table. Let's have a look at few examples. Find the principal value of cos inverse half. First of all, assume it equal to y equal to cos inverse half. Here, cos y equal to half. Come to this right hand side in this rough work. We know that cos 60 degree is equal to half. But as we just discussed, here we will talk about radians, will not deal in angles. So cos 60 is equal to half. First of all, convert it into radians. I hope you all know how to convert it. It is pi by 3. Now, this is the table that we have to take help from. Now, the angle given is positive. Positive angle and cos inverse. So, pi by 3, look at this principal branch. Pi by 3 is in this branch or not? 0 to pi. Yes, since half is positive, so principal value of theta is pi by 3 because it definitely comes in this interval 0 to pi. So half we can write down as cos pi by 3, and the range of principal value of cos inverse is between 0 and pi. This is the range. So yes, our angle is definitely between this range 0 to pi. So the principal value is pi by 3. Next is cos inverse minus 1 by 2. So again, as per the given steps, assume it equal to y. Now cos y equal to minus 1 by 2. First of all, ignore the sign and calculate the angle in the radian. So it is pi by 3. Now the angle given is negative. So negative, cos inverse and negative. It means the answer should be pi minus theta. What is the theta we calculate? Pi by 3. So pi minus pi by 3. So what is pi minus pi by 3? That is 2 pi by 3. Now do we have 2 pi by 3 in this range? 0 to pi? Yes. The range of principal value of cos inverse is between 0 to pi, and 2 pi by 3 is very well lies in this interval. So the answer is 2 pi by 3. Next is sine inverse 1 by 2. Now this is sine inverse and angle is positive. So now let's first of all calculate half in the radian. So it is pi by 6. Now pi by 6 and the angle is positive. Pi by 6. Do we have pi by 6 in this range? Yes. So the answer is pi by 6 minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. This is the range of sine x. This was cos. So now do we have pi by 6 here? Yes, we have pi by 6 in this interval. So the answer is pi by 6. Next is find the principal value of sine inverse minus 1 by 2. Now the angle is negative and sine inverse. First of all, assume it equal to y. So sine y equal to minus half. Now calculate this half in terms of radian. So this is pi by 6. Now the angle is negative. So the answer will be minus of theta. It means minus pi by 6. Do we have minus pi by 6 in this range? Yes, it is there. So the answer is minus pi by 6. Next is tan inverse 1. First of all, let's convert this 1 into tan 45 degree 1. So into radian it will be into pi by 180. It is pi by 4. Everybody knows it very well. Now tan inverse function and the angle is positive. So pi by 4 is only the answer. And do we have pi by 4 in this range? Yes, we have. So this is the only answer. Now tan inverse minus 1. Tan inverse and angle is negative. So the answer should be minus of theta. It means minus pi by 4. So do we have minus pi by 4 in this range? Yes. So this is only answer. Next is sec inverse 2 by root 3. First of all, cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So sec 30 2 by root 3. Convert it into radian, this is pi by 6. Now sec inverse and the angle is positive. So pi by 6 should be the answer. So do we have pi by 6 in this range? 0 to pi, close interval and minus pi by 2. So yes, pi by 6 is here. So this is only answer. Cot inverse root 3. So cot inverse root 3, first of all, tan 30 1 upon root 3. These are very basic things that I am discussing and I hope you must be knowing all these concepts. Cos 30 is equal to root 3 and this is pi by 6. Now cot inverse and the angle given is positive. So this should be the answer, pi by 6, and yes, pi by 6 lies in this interval. So this is only answer. Next is find the value of tan inverse 1 plus cos inverse minus 1 by 2 plus sine inverse minus 1 by 2. As we have just calculated the value of tan inverse 1 and we have seen that it is pi by 4. Cos inverse minus half. Same way we will calculate half first of all in radian, pi by 3, and angle is negative. So the answer should be pi minus theta. So pi minus theta, pi minus pi by 3 is 2 pi by 3. So it is 2 pi by 3. Next is sine inverse minus 1 by 2. So sine inverse and angle is negative. So it should be minus of theta. It means minus pi by 6. So now we have calculated all three values. Now put all the values in this given expression. So it is pi by 4 plus 2 pi by 3 minus pi by 6. And solve it. The answer is 3 pi by 4. So students, I hope you must have understood all these concepts. Few questions I took straight away from exercise 2.1 only. Now please try remaining questions of exercise 2.1 yourself and I know you can do it very well. And keep watching my YouTube videos and keep liking, and don't forget to post your name, class, section and roll number in the comment box. Thank you very much.